So then guys, on the horizon, Apple have a new MacBook Air coming out with a new M5 chip inside of it. But a lot of you guys are wanting to know, will we get a new OLED display? Will we get a new design? Well, today we're going to cover it off and all the leaks and rumors we've heard about with the next generation of the MacBook Air. But let's just quickly talk about where we are currently with the MacBook Air right now. So we've had the same MacBook Air design now for 3 generations. We had the first generation of the current design with the M2 MacBook Air, and this was back in 2022. But a year later, we got a larger brother. We got the 13-inch MacBook Air, very similar design with the M2. And then the year later in 23, at the end of it, we got the M3 chip introduced into it. And then we currently have the M4 MacBook Air, which came out at the end of 2024. Now, the MacBook Air is Apple's most popular MacBook they sell right now. And to be honest, I can't blame them why, because it's absolutely amazing. It is super light and has a fantastic design. It gives you really great performance, and yet you can still pick up one of these for really cheap now. In fact, you can even pick up the M4 MacBook Air for under $800 sometimes on some sales, and quite a lot of places actually have it for $850. And with that, you get an M4 chip, you get 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabyte model and the 13-inch design. And this is really, really great value from Apple, what they're offering here. But as we go onwards then onto the next generation of the MacBook Air, you guys are probably to know what is going to change. Well, I can tell you right now that the design of the MacBook Air is probably not going to be changing for the M5 generation. So unfortunately, that does mean that the current design, what is still a great design, is going to be staying as it is. You're not going to get any updates there. Now, something else, what that also means is that if you were looking for a new OLED display coming in the next generation of the MacBook Air, no, this will not be happening. And in fact, we've even heard other rumors that we could be getting a different type of LED display before even getting an OLED display put inside of the MacBook Air. And it also means that probably Pro Motion is not going to be coming to the MacBook Air anytime soon, so probably not even with the M5 and potentially even not the M6. So we're going to have to wait out a little bit longer for the design of the MacBook Air to be updated. But where there are probably going to be changes is going to be to do with everything that's going on underneath the MacBook Air, and that includes the M5 chip. So the M5 chip is most likely going to be very similar to the M4 chip in its cores, with 1 or 2 little differences. We're probably most likely still going to get a 10-core CPU, and this will probably be made up of 6 efficiency cores and 4 performance cores. Now, this will be, as I like to call it, the full fat version of the M5, very similar to the M4, but Apple probably also sell a bin down version. And when it's a bin down version, they normally sacrifice on GPU cores. So right now with the MacBook Air, with the M4, the maximum GPU cores you can actually get are 10 GPU cores, but there is a bin down version that give you a couple of less. But with the M5 MacBook Air, there is the potential that Apple could actually up the amount of cores this time around. Do remember the last time that Apple increased the amount of GPU cores was when we went from M1 to M2. We had 8 cores, then we went up to 10 cores. And we've had 10 cores in M2, M3, and M4. So it makes sense that the M5, if it's going to have an increase in cores, it would be in the GPU cores, and it probably got up to 12 cores. So more than likely, we'd have a 12-core GPU, and the bin down version would also be a 10-core version there. The other things to throw into the mix is that Apple could also add in some of their other special architecture, like what they introduced with the A19, the A19 Pro. We could have bigger caches on the efficiency cores, and we could also have those new kind of neural kind of cores added to the GPU, what could also help out too with performance wise. Now, for things like RAM and storage, things that are looking like they won't change too much, with maybe the possibility of storage. And let's talk about that first of all. And that is, we've had 256 gigabytes of storage as the lowest amount of storage in this MacBook Air for a long time now. And in 2025, and even if we go into 2026, 256 is not a lot. And Apple could be upping the lowest amount of storage to be 512 gigabytes for the M5 generation, what would be great to actually have out there. This would be the baseline version. But then for RAM, I don't think much is going to change here. Do remember just the last generation, or even partly through the M3 generation, that RAM went up to 16 gigabytes as the baseline amount. So, you know, this is what's probably going to be staying now for a while as the base amount. So you'd probably have the offerings of, say, 16 gigabytes, 24 gigabytes, and 32 gigabytes for a while now. So yeah, just be aware of that too. So then guys, I just want to tell you about the channel giveaway that we are doing at the end of September. So that's just literally a couple of weeks away from now. And I'm going to be giving away to one lucky subscriber on this channel an iPad Pro. And this is no ordinary iPad Pro. This is a 13-inch iPad Pro, and it also has inside of it the top-notch M4 chip inside of it. And the reason why it has that is because it's got 1 terabyte of storage. So that means 16 gigabytes of RAM, and like I said, it has the top 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU M4. And not only this, it also has Wi-Fi cellular, so you can take it out and about wherever you want to use it too. And like I said, one lucky subscriber is going to get their hands on it. And all you have to do to enter into this giveaway is just do 2 things. The first thing right now is just put down into the comments below of what technology gear you're hoping to get in 2025. Maybe it's going to be a new iPhone, maybe it's going to be a new iPad, maybe it's got nothing to do with Apple whatsoever. It could be, say, a Nintendo Switch 2 or something else completely different. Whatever it is, just put it down in the comments below. Now, the other part of the giveaway, well, that is happening at the end of September time, and I'll be making a video around there what you will need to watch, and in that video I'll give you even more details about the giveaway, including the live stream and also a form to fill in too. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell, because you won't want to miss out on that video. The last thing I just want to quickly say to you guys is sadly there are still lots of scammers and spammers out there, people still impersonating me, tending to WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram direct message. Please do ignore these people, best to see right here, please do report them. So moving on from this then, what about the release date and also the price for the MacBook Air? Well, I think the great news is that probably with the price to begin with, it's probably going to stay exactly the same. So this means that, say, the 13-inch baseline model, you can pick it up from Apple right now for $999 US, and this will probably retain the same price right now. And do remember, if you're an educator or you're a student, you can even pick up for $899 US, what is fantastic value. Or, like before we talked about, that if you gave it a month or 2 later after its release time, then you could probably even pick it up for $850 or even potentially $800 for this MacBook Air, what's really great value. And I think this is going to be sticking around this time round for the M5 version. Now, the other thing to talk about is obviously the actual release time. Now, do remember we had the release of the M4 MacBook Air, and that happened in 2025, and it happened around about March, April time. So more than likely, if we're going to get an upgrade on the MacBook Air, it's not going to be till that in 2026 at the earliest. And the great thing is we have had leaks coming in telling us that it is in the pipeline that Apple are going to bring out new MacBook Airs some point in spring 2026. So that is the target time for the release date of when we're probably going to get the new MacBook Air. But for those guys out there who wanting that new OLED display and things like this, like I said, we're going to be a few generations until we get that. Do remember, it's not going to be probably to the end of 2026 or even early 2027 that the MacBook Pros are going to get this. So yeah, it's going to be a good few years yet until we get an OLED display put inside the MacBook Air and Pro Motion too. Just think about iPhones there, for example. Remember, the iPhone 17 normal has just got Pro Motion, and obviously we've had Pro Motion ever since the iPhone 13 models. You get the point. It's going to be a while yet until you actually get that in an Air model. But really guys, that is the latest and greatest we have on the MacBook Air M5. Are you excited for it? Are you going to get one? Well, let me know in the comments below. And with that as well guys, it's time to wrap up this video too. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. As always, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell too. Until next time guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.